Ruhling here to share with you a very special need that relates to Southern California, which is where I went to medical school. Actually, I became a board certified physician and taught health at this university, Loma Linda. Secrets of Living Longer in National Geographic 205 November issue featured my school, and I think I do know something about living longer. I'm 83 and in great health, but burdened about the information that I think is a true story of a great need, huge, for what may be coming. National Institutes of Health gave my school $40 million to learn why the university, which you see in the picture next on this webpage, people in that community live about 7 to 10 years longer than other non-smoking groups. The question is, how do they do it, or why? And $40 million was given to my School of Public Health for a study or a grant to learn what the diet was and how they did it, etc. And bottom line was that it was featured in this Time magazine. This is really a 1990 edition, July, but it featured the founder of Loma Linda University right here shown, and this was really an ad for a book that she wrote, but it does say that she was 100 years ahead of her time on numerous issues. Specifically for tobacco, in 1864 she said it was a poison of the most malignant kind, and that was 100 years before the Surgeon General made a link of malignant poison to malignant tumors in the lung. So a very accurate description. Dr. Clive McKay of Cornell University reviewed Ellen White, the founder, and he found that there's no better overall guide available today. That was at the end of about 6 or 7 review pages on nutrition. And the point is that it's still true today that we don't know what every new diet that comes along is a fad type of diet for a little while until they find out that it's not as good as they thought it was. But anyway, I have a book written, Health, Happiness, and Destiny, which discusses diet and exercise. You can really reverse heart disease if you know how to do it, and I've seen it happen. In fact, my book has a picture of Salvatore Frascinella, 92 years of age in that picture right there, that first came to me at age 67, 25 years earlier, and he couldn't walk more than 2 blocks without severe chest pain. And his cardiologist felt he was too risky for bypass, so they had him on a dozen pills a day, not different pills, but some of them were 2 or 3 times a day, etc. But he couldn't walk 2 blocks without severe chest pain, and he used to like to play tennis. He thought he was about to lose things totally, and came to my series that I was giving in New York. He was a New York executive, and in about 6 or 8 weeks he was off all of his drugs and starting to walk up hills and so on. And we became good friends, and he sent me his picture when he was at age 92 for the book. But you can do this. You can reverse most diseases, and I will be giving donors to my project a DVD that has this. This is the diet. It's also featured in the British Medical Journal, giving 73% less severity to healthcare workers that got COVID on a plant-based diet, basically. But it's an excellent documentary, and you're wondering, where does this come in with the need and the donation type of thing? My author did not want, the founder of my medical school did not want drugs taught at her school. She wanted it to treat natural remedies to missionaries. Well, the administrators hijacked her school to get AMA accreditation. They thought that would be a good idea to teach doctors, and so they taught drugs. She didn't want drugs taught in her school. And bottom line, today drugs are a leading cause of illness and death due to adverse drug reactions. She didn't say adverse drug reactions. She just said the drug changes the form and location of the disease. My former wife had a bladder infection. Didn't know what to do, took some herbs and drank water, cranberry juice, but went to her doctor, got a prescription for an antibiotic, and in 3 days she didn't need the medicine any longer. But months later, she got a rash under her skin. And I said, well, you ought to get a blood test from your doctor on that. And she did, and he called urgently the next morning to refer her to a hematologist. He said she has no platelets in her blood. And the hematologist put her in a hospital, did a bone marrow, no platelets in the bone marrow. Took out her spleen, still no better. He treated her with transfusions and high steroids until she died of a stroke. And I remarried a woman whose former husband died of the same antibiotic my wife died from. These are dangerous drugs, and yet I had prescribed it myself, okay? That wasn't my favorite, but the point is that drugs are more dangerous because they're never reported in the media. If you don't hear about it, you think, oh, that's rare. Yeah. Well, not rare at all. Medical literature supports, and I went through U.S. Congress with literature, medical journals to prove it, until one senator said, you know, you're wasting your time. They own us. Speaking of donations to their reelection. So they're not going to fight that, and you won't hear about it, okay? And the drug companies have a free pass. They can't be sued unless it's a class action with many others doing it. Anyway, bottom line, big trouble, but my favorite author, then I showed you the picture, her picture of it, here she is, who founded the medical school that you can see in the screen there, had a vision of an earthquake at Loma Linda, okay? And she said buildings, great and small, were falling to the ground. Many lives were blotted out. It seemed that the forbearance of God was exhausted and the judgment day had come. Well, I'm a Christian, and I do see that the Bible has information on things that are coming. It says in Amos 3:7 that God won't do anything without revealing it. It's revealed through his servants, like I believe I just shared with you from a dream or vision. And I've never had a dream or vision or voice, but I do look at the Bible that where people did have voices and heard. And I'm seeing a very meaningful perspective, and I'm going to explain it right now. When Christ, and by the way, I hope this doesn't offend anybody, but 65 to 75% of this country do identify as Christians. And so that means you should consider the Bible. It has a very accurate track record. And if we had more time, I could give you one verse that explains how God saw the future of, I'll tell it to you really, Cyrus. Named him, told how he would conquer Babylon 100 years before he was even born. Okay, and Cyrus knew nothing at all about this, but he did divert the river Euphrates into a reservoir. And when at night he marched his army under the wall of Babylon to discover 2 gates left open. Well, that's mentioned in Isaiah 45, verse 1. And when Daniel showed him his name in the text there, written 100 years, Daniel brought it from Babylon, and here he comes 70 years later to conquer Babylon. He was impressed with the God of Israel, freed Israel from bondage and captivity, and let them go to their homeland, even help pay their way. Well, huge, that's a one-verse proof that God can see the end from the beginning. And anyway, won't go there more right now to explain it. But I'm seeing that the Bible, when Christ was asked about the end of the world, he said to understand the book of Daniel. And in Daniel's 8th chapter, there's a conflict between a ram and a goat. And the goat is flying from the west to stop a militant Muslim ram that has 2 horns, horns of Medes and Persians. Actually, it would represent the kings of those countries. And Saddam, Medes is Iraq, and Persia is Iran. It changed names about 100 years ago. But the point is that the Bible was accurate. The king of Iraq, Saddam, is gone, and now Iran is getting into the picture against Israel this year in sending hundreds of missiles and drones and things over. I believe we're going to get into it, and next year, for other reasons that I won't go into now, but if you want to give a donation, I will explain it more fully. You can give me a call. Actually, any donor that wants to give $100 can get my book, Grady Harp, top 100 Amazon Hall of Fame reviewers, said splendid book and gave it 5 stars. And I already told you, first chapter, Salvatore Frascinello reversed his heart disease. The DVD that I have would help you to do that, and you're welcome to call me for a consult. We can talk on the phone, but answer any question that I can answer. I'm good in 2 areas: healthcare and Bible prophecy for end times. Okay, there's a lot of other things in the Bible I might not know, but those 2 areas I believe I really understand, and I'm seeing how we get there to the earthquake, because Iran is going to get other nations involved. Actually, Turkey did too. The President Erdogan of Turkey appealed for 57 Muslim nations to siege Israel. And Zechariah 14, verse 1, says that the day of the Lord comes and all nations are going to be gathered against Jerusalem. Houses will be rifled, women ravished, half the city goes into captivity. Huge event. And I believe that when they take Jerusalem, Joel 3:16 says, "The Lord will roar from Jerusalem, the heavens and earth will shake." And I believe that will be the start of biblical end times, in my opinion. I can explain that more fully too. But the earthquake is what Ellen White saw at Loma Linda when buildings, great and small, were falling to the ground. She cited from Zephaniah 1:8. The previous verse says, "Day of the Lord," okay, in verse 7. And so that's also Zechariah 14, Day of the Lord, earthquake that initiates the end times. So I'm seeing multiple reasons why next spring is it, okay, spring of 2025. And love to explain it to you, but we need donations to help make people aware. I'm a little guy. I get about $1,054 a month from Social Security. Not a lot of money, and it certainly doesn't pay for much publicity or TV time or anything like that. But I'd say that we need to be doing something more to work. You know, the Bible says if you see a sword coming and you don't warn them, their blood is on your hands. I feel like I have blood on my hands if I don't do what I can right now to help alert people. And there's a bigger story to this than I've been able to share here. But thank you very much for trying to help us. And we'll let it go at that.